So a digital weapon is a very powerful mini weapon that at full size will be carried by perhaps an Astartes or an Inquisitor, and it's been shrunken down with such genius craftsmanship that it can be worn on a finger as a ring or another type of jewellery. Let's say by a rogue trader or Inquisitor, for example. Who can make such incredible weapons in M40? What damage can they do, and what types of weapons can be miniaturised in the first place? Friends, let's find out, and welcome to another 40k video. The Joko are a strange race, who manufacture equally strange artefacts. Amongst these are the various digital weapons. A digital weapon fits either onto a finger or on a knuckle. Weapons are activated by fingers and can be fired either one at a time, several at a time, or all at once. Because they are so tiny, they can be employed in addition to another weapon you could carry in your other hand. The Joko make digital versions of the needle pistol, las pistol and hand flamer. Each has exactly the same effect as its larger counterpart. Joko weapons are very rare. Most people would never see one, and they almost certainly wouldn't be able to afford to buy one, even if they could find one. When offered for sale, they command such high prices. Anything the owner of the device cares to name. These weapons would never find their way into general service. Think of the genius at work here to take a handgun and make it small enough to operate from a ring. Let's go over two of these weapons on the larger scale, the needle pistol and the las gun, to show you how impressive it is that they have been miniaturised. For the las pistol, laser pistols, known also as las pistols, blazers and blugers, are cheap and easy to obtain. They are carried openly on many planets, and most citizens know how to use one. All sophisticated aliens are familiar with laser technology and produce weapons of a comparable kind. The examples turned out by the Eldar craftsmen are generally regarded as the most reliable, as well as being beautiful works of art. Now, the needle pistol is a small and elegant version of the basic needler, as it is silent and flashless. It is used in all kinds of underhand and secretive work. Assassination, doping and kidnapping are missions for which the weapon is ideal. Creatures carrying these weapons are often regarded with suspicion, and perhaps rightly so. And here is an example of the weapon being used by a rogue trader from the novel Rogue Star. Though he appeared not to be armed with any form of projectile weapon, as would have been the case whenever paying court to such as Lundberg, Lucian now proved he was most certainly not unarmed. In that brief moment, Lucian raised his arm, the concealed digital weapon he always carried, upon his right hand ring finger, pointed straight across the table at the Imperial commander. And Lucian said, "You will allow us to withdraw to our vessel and to leave in peace." "You will never leave here, Gerrit," Lundberg replied. Brielle could only assume that the man had never before had the business end of a digital weapon pointed at him. She chuckled inwardly as she saw that the weapon her father pointed was one that would not kill, but would instead create a mess and have a far more interesting effect upon the target's nervous system. Lundberg, Brielle realised, had entirely failed to grasp the gravity of his situation. "I had a feeling that would be your answer," said Lucian. "These talks are at an end." He fired the tiny weapon, a blinding white stream of light arcing across this space between the two men, and striking Lundberg square between the eyes. The Imperial commander stood transfixed as actinic lightning played around his head, before losing control of his bowels, explosively, and collapsing to the floor. There he lay, wailing and puking like a newborn, while his harem recoiled in horror. And here's another example. And a high-pitched whine filled the corridor, followed an instant later by the screaming report of an energy weapon discharging at close quarters, another of her father's hidden weapons, she guessed. The roiling bolt raced the length of the corridor, its lightning blinding in the enclosed space, before slamming into the guard's left shoulder. The man's shoulder disintegrated, leaving nothing behind to attach his left arm to his body. The catastrophic wound was cauterized before the blackened arm flopped to the floor, to be followed a moment later by the rest of the guard. And what about those who make these weapons? Those who were made by the old ones during the War in Heaven, the Joko. Let's go into more on them from Rogue Trader. The Joko are a fascinating race. For one thing, no outsider has ever decided whether they are intelligent. They are certainly capable of tremendous feats of engineering, construction and problem solving, yet they have no language, culture or motivation higher than survival. Their physical appearance is of a heavy, orange-furred ape, similar to the orangutan which roamed ancient Earth. On a short side, I noticed that the Eldar always refer to humans as monkeys. I wonder what they would refer to the Joko as, since they were both created by the same race, the Old Ones. This may or may not be coincidence, for it is an established fact that the Slan, later dubbed the Old Ones, created and modified many races at the dawn of time and appear to have visited the Earth on numerous occasions. The most amazing thing about the Joko is their technical brilliance. They appear to have an innate, genetically structured understanding of technology. Given sufficient pieces of battered machinery, a group of Joko can make almost anything and put even MacGyver to shame. They can make anything from a spaceship to a las cannon. Their comprehension of astrophysics is baffling. They seem able to tap power currents which flow imperceptibly through the galaxy. Their understanding of such matters goes far beyond that of even the most advanced of other known races, with the possible exception of the great mages of the Slam. Joko spacecraft are a case in point. A Joko spacecraft looks like no other form of space transport, consisting entirely of an open-framed lattice structure, forming a unique polyhedral shape. This structure draws energy from the galactic power currents simply by virtue of its shape, in a similar way to which force weapons channel psychic energy by virtue of their spiral patterns. Joko spacecraft maneuver and transcend warp space by means of making physical changes to the ship's shape, thereby altering the crass relationship to the universal powers it employs and modifying its place in the natural galactic order. Now, Joko themselves live in large family groups roaming the galaxy at random, concentrating on survival. They frequently land on inhabited worlds, usually to scavenge for oddments or specific components they require. If necessary, they will band together and attack other creatures in order to gain what they need. Because of their extraordinary talents, they use weapons, equipment and tactics in a similar way to intelligent creatures, and are capable of mounting coordinated and complex attacks. If the Joko could be controlled, they would be very useful to other races. However, this has proved largely impossible. They tend to build things which meet their own immediate needs. Attempts at capturing and compelling them to work can have disastrous effects. It causes them to build things which they can use to escape. Their innate ability is a characteristic I think they share with the Orcs, who have that innate built love of warfare. Anyway, now friends, I turn things over to you, listener. What do you think about these Digi Weapons and those that made them? Comment down below.